My name's StepsBasic and welcome. I might need this, huh? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's StepsBasic and welcome back to my community show. So, anyway, not important. What's important today is let's talk about a topic that I talked about a while back. This one is called idol worship, except in this case, we're going to go a little bit the opposite direction. I remember saying in that video that I did that I don't really suffer from idol worship. And this, to a degree, is true. As an adult now, 36, I don't really associate myself with, like other celebrities. Other celebrities, like I'm a celebrity. With celebrities, as it were. I've never really, as an adult, I don't really fixate and be like, oh man, this person is the bee's knees and whatnot. And sure, there are plenty of actors and actresses and writers and radio personalities that I enjoy and whatnot, but for the most part, no, not really. I don't model my life after celebrities because my life is my own and not theirs. But let's talk about the times when I have. Now, there are three specific ones, and what brought this topic to life was actually one of them posting an image of them with another one of mine. So let's start with the first one, with Jonathan K. Quan. Now, he's in this new movie that's come out Everything All at Once and Everything Everywhere and All at Once, something like that. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I do want to, and my daughter and I are going to go watch it as soon as we can. But money's stupid. But we want to go see that movie. And I just found out that he was in that movie. Now, I have not followed his acting career at all. But when I was a kid, there were two particular movies that he was in that I absolutely loved, and he was my favorite character in them. Specifically, he was in The Goonies, and he was in Indiana Jones. I don't remember the titles of the ones. I think it was The Temple of Doom. But anyway, not important. But he was in both those movies, and I loved that character. And as a kid, I watched this kid, and I'm like, this kid is like awesome. I want to be just like him. And I wanted to be an inventor, and I wanted to be sneaky and whatnot. And I even tried a few things, tried to make a few little inventions, but they never really worked. But I loved the kid's like vibe, and I really wanted to be just like him. But of course, we were both about the same age, so it was like, it was kind of along the lines of like, yeah, okay, I see myself in this kid, and I want to be this kid. But then I grew older, and well, kind of moved on, as it were. But for a short time, that was what I was like. I'm gonna be this cool little inventor kid. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, it didn't really work out. But he had an impact in my life, and he made me realize that intelligence isn't something that you need to shy away from, or it's not something that you need to pretend is toxic or something that's you need to avoid. So watching this kid, like in the first movie in the Goonies, he was this inventor kid, very smart, and always had something to do to get out of trouble and whatnot. Although admittedly, much like my own inventions, some of them didn't really work out quite so well. And then in the second one, he was conniving and a little bit of a con artist, and it was like, oh, he's so sneaky. Now, luckily, I never wanted to be a con artist, luckily, but he did pretty well, and it was awesome. And I was like, I love this kid. I want to be just like him. But he posted a picture, Jonathan K. Quan, not Short Round or. But anyway, he posted a picture of him standing next to Drew Barrymore, and I'm like, Drew Barrymore was another one of my celebrity idols. And this one goes back to when I was a teenager. And now, this wasn't a matter of like, I want to be this person. This was more a matter of I'm falling in love with this person. What do you call it? A parasocial situation. And I was a fan of romantic comedies, and she had so many of them out at the time. And of course, like, I had watched the movie Firestarter when I was younger, but that one was a little bit put off, a little bit a little bit before my time, as it were, but it was great. Such a good movie. Even now, I can watch it and enjoy it. Except now, I watch it from a different perspective. As the dad. But going through high school and my teenage years, I'm watching Drew Barrymore, and I'm like, I'm in love with this woman. And it got to be so bad that even at one point, it was like she married Tom Green, and I was upset. I was more upset than I should have been. Granted, not like to the crazy level of upset, but I was like, she deserves so much better. Because Tom Green, especially in that era, was known for being an idiot. Doing things as I thought he was doing things for attention, and stupid things. Like, I think there was a joke in South Park at one point where he's like,
all right, now let's go to Tom Green, who's going to do something really outrageous. Does anyone out there like me yet?
that is exactly how I felt about Tom Green. Like, he was just like desperate for attention and people to care about him. And I'm like, Drew Barrymore deserves so much better than that. Now, of course, like, I don't know much about Jonathan K. Quan's life, but Drew Barrymore's life, I was very much like, I very much was aware of the fact that she had had a hard life, being, introduced into celebrity at such a young age. And of course, with that comes all the trappings of a toxic Hollywood life, including drugs, partying, etc. Because she was in E.T. and Firestarter as a little kid, and then later on going into other movies and whatnot. And by the time I was infatuated with her, it was from movies like Never Been Kissed and Home Fries and Ever After. Ever After was my favorite. Ugh. Such a beautiful movie. Even to this day, it's like I still find her to be quite an attractive young lady. A young lady, she's older than me, but she's still gorgeous. And like, what was it? Santa Clarita Diet. I watched that, and I was still like, those old feelings are still there. Granted, not like to the same degree, but it's like, such a wonderful woman. And these days, she's still moving and shaking, as it were. She's still out there. She's on the tiki-taki, and I've seen her on there a few times, and I'm glad that she's, still successful. But, my love and my infatuation for her passed, as it does when it comes to celebrity crushes. But then, let's talk about the third one. And this one is a rough one, right? Like, I know I've talked about him on my channel before, but Robin Williams, I modeled so much of myself after him that even to this day, it's like, Now, the funny part is, like, when I was a kid watching him, bear in mind that I didn't have a dad growing up. My dad was dead, and he killed himself 3 months after I was born. So, to me, it was like a really rough thing. And so I formed this strange story in my head about Robin Williams actually being my dad. And I'd look in the mirror with the lights just right, and I'd smile, and I'd be like, wow, I have his smile. I look exactly like him. And when the shadow hits me, it's like, yeah, I am definitely Robin Williams' son. I don't know how my mom finagled that, but, he's definitely my dad. And it was a very strange sort of hero worship that it never breached to the level of toxicity. Luckily enough, a lot of my obsessions and whatnot, my idolizations, never breached to the level of toxicity, but except for within my own mind, like falling in love with Drew Barrymore, wanting to be like Jonathan K. Quan's characters, and picturing Robin Williams as my dad. It's like, yeah, of course, in my head, I knew for sure that he wasn't my dad, because, again, how would my mom have finagled that? But still, and as such, I modeled myself after his teachings and whatnot. And some of my favorite movies of his, What Dreams May Come, and Patch Adams, and like Jack. It's just seeing the sides of this man, and it was to the point where I grew up, and I'm like, okay, I know he's not my dad. I need to abandon this idea of it. But it didn't mean I had to stop loving the man for who he was and whatnot. I recently rewatched What Dreams May Come, and it really hits especially hard, especially after he's passed, and the circumstances surrounding the way he died. So What Dreams May Come carries with it an extra weight to it, and I, as a person who have struggled with mental health and hating myself and wanting to die and several failed attempts at suicide, it's just like now I feel so much more connected to him. And I knew he was struggling. Like, I had heard so many times about how he'd been struggling with his own self-image and hating himself and wanting to die and everything. And I felt seen and heard, as it were. Compose myself. Seeing him pass the way he did, it just hurt even more because of how hard it is for people like him to keep going. And there was, I don't even know if it was quoted from him, but it was attributed to him a lot. Was the whole, the people who are smiling the hardest are the ones who are hurting the most on the inside. And I really felt like that really epitomized me. It's like I smile so hard. I try to make everyone else happy around me because of how bad I feel on the inside and how much I hate myself and how hard it is for me to get up every day. And I felt like that mentality comes from him. I try to make everyone happy and smiling and laughing. And if you're laughing, then you're not crying, right? And if I'm making other people laugh, that means I'm a good person. I'm doing a good thing. And so, yeah. Dang, man, that turned heavy. I didn't want it to be heavy. But I knew, if I have to talk about Robin Williams, I knew it was going to turn heavy. But these are the three, like, big celebrities I've modeled myself after at certain points in my life. Whether I wanted to be them, wanted to be with them, or I believe that they were in some way my relative. And I have not really held much in the way of an idol worship or some sort of a celebrity idol since those three. And after Robin Williams passed, especially, I'm like, I shall never love as I have loved like this. And yeah, so I've moved on and kept going. And you know what? I think to a degree that having an idol worship, so to speak, in moderation, always in moderation, is an okay thing to have. Now, of course, bear in mind that celebrities are people. They're given to error, given to fault. They are human and cannot be perfect, and therefore you should never view them as such. And you should never give yourself an unhealthy relationship when it comes to celebrities. I'm saying what I said in that other video again, but avoid the parasocial situations. You're most likely never going to be their friend. They're probably never going to know who you are, and you need to accept that. And I, to a degree, did accept that. Like, I knew I would never be best friends with Jonathan K Quan. I would never be dating or married to Drew Barrymore, and Robin Williams was never my father. But it never hurt to have these, like, visions in my head, these beliefs and whatnot, just as long as I didn't let them control my life. And sometimes the parasocial situations, parasocial relationships tend to go a bit too far and consume our lives and whatnot. And to a degree, that's why I've never had a true celebrity idol. But I also understand that sort of emotion comes from a different sense. Growing up as a kid, I had very few friends, so Jonathan K Quan being my best bud, and me wanting to be just like him made sense. And I dated one person in high school, and and as such, it was like a week long. So I never really had a romance, never really had the love of my life, as it were, until after I got out of high school and then married my wife almost immediately. But as such, I was lonely. So imagining imagining myself being in a relationship with Drew Barrymore was not too far from, therapeutic. And again, like I said, I had no father figure, so picking Robin Williams to be my father figure kind of helped a bit. And he was a good guy, so it's not like I picked a horrible person to be my father figure. But anyway, that's enough of that. What are your celebrity idols, and how do you keep it from breaching into the level of toxicity? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But anyway, on to announcements. So, finally, I am done with the pre-work for that project I was working on. And I will begin recording it this weekend, and I don't quite know exactly how I want to do it. Do I want to do it all at once and then release it episodically? Do I want to just do it episodically and then, as I'm going along? I'm worried about doing it episodically, because if I do it episodically, then I might never get it done, and I might never put it out. Or at worst, like I did with Tim, get to a point and then just stop. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do this right and try to get it done and out, and it'll be great because, well, I hope it'll be great. I'm enjoying it. Apart from that, we started Love, Guns, and Tentacles on Borderlands 3, the second of the 4 DLC. So we're almost done with Borderlands 3. We will get there. Apart from all that, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of The Community Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, please go and poke that like button more. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I want to get back to you as soon as I can. When I can, if I can, all that jazz. And tune in next time for another topic, another time. And until then, good night.